Hello to you. It's week 36. It's Sunday the 14th of August, and it's been a very interesting week, a very overwhelming week. I think overwhelm is the word that really comes to mind for me. I've had some massive news, and I'll end with that at the end, but also from a business perspective. There's just so much going on at the moment, so many problems as well as so many opportunities, and it's really just trying to work out what to focus on, to keep one's energy positive, because when there's constant negativity, sometimes it is difficult to stay on track, to stay focused, and as I said to you, you do and can get overwhelmed. One of the second things for me is that dealing with the old company which is being liquidated, that's still being involved. I went to see the liquidator, everything. It's been over a year now that we've been working on it. I would have thought it's pretty much wrapped up now. We were coming close to getting it done, and I asked him how long it'll take, and he said best case scenario it'll take another year and a half till the end of next year. And I nearly fell off my chair. I just cannot believe that the processes in this country are so long. We sold properties in August last year that have still not transferred now. That's a year later, because of all the lawyers, the banks and everything else that's a process. And those are properties that have been sold higher than the mortgage value. Can you imagine these people that have properties below the mortgage value, what type of chaos it must be out there? I went to see my bank manager to try and sort out the bank accounts, and even though at the end of last year we asked for all the bank accounts to be closed, Standard Bank hasn't closed the bank accounts. So they've now accrued a whole lot of costs. It's not huge amounts of money, it's 300-400 rand, but it's frustrating across 4 different bank accounts. The credit cards, they won't close the credit cards. They say it's my responsibility to close the credit cards and the debit orders. So we've closed the credit cards, but yet they still allow the debit orders to go off. And even though we get a hold of companies to switch off the debit orders, if they send it through, they will still do it. And I made a joke. I said, what happens if Julius Malema gets hold of me and literally takes out 30,000 rand? I've got no control over the situation. I've got absolutely no way of doing anything about it, and yet I am held 100% liable. It is complete rubbish, and I can see why the CPA was brought in, the Consumer Protection Act, to protect the consumer in situations like this that are completely ridiculous, where the consumer is acting in the best interest, they are trying to get everything done, and yet they are still treated like a thief and like the enemy. So maybe you're starting to understand where this overwhelm is coming from in terms of dealing with these old negative elements of this old company. The third one, though, on a positive note, was the presenting. I absolutely love presenting, both live and on webinars. I had the opportunity of doing a full half-day workshop in Johannesburg, as well as running a live workshop on offshore property investment. Again, another one of our breakfasts where we charge people to come along to the breakfast. It's an awesome opportunity to share with them, to provide education, to build trust with them, and yet they pay for the breakfast, so it's not costing me any money out of my pocket. So really love that opportunity of presenting both for Double Your Sales and for IPS. And then also we had 3 webinars this week, so that really juices me, and that's what keeps me positive and amongst all this negativity from some of these old elements with regards to one of the old companies. The other thing that I wanted to mention was PR. I've always kept in contact and built great friendships with journalists and TV people and newspaper, radio. I believe that it's very valuable. You've got to constantly be adding value to them. Everything in life is about adding value. The more value you can add, the better you will be able to deliver and help other people, and the better it will turn out for yourself in the long run. And for me, I got called up by the guys from CNBC. I got interviewed on their Let's Talk Property. They had John Lewis, one of the heads of FNB Economics. They had one of their head home loan guys, and they had me talking about offshore property. It was a 30-minute segment, and you can imagine that's brilliant for not only our brand, but endorsing what we are as the authority on offshore investment. So what are you doing to build your relationships with regards to PR, to add value, to show them and to educate them and teach them that you know what you're doing? Because I think it's such a huge endorsement to get out there and to get onto TV and to be able to build credibility, and people just love the fact when they see you on TV. I know certainly my family does. And then the last one, which is probably the greatest news, my wife actually found out that she's pregnant. So yes, we are pregnant. It's still pretty new in the process, and this is probably where the overwhelm comes in again. But that is, I always said that I want children when I grow up. It's just that I wasn't grown up yet. Well, I'm very relieved and excited for us. We have, we are married. It is part of the process. We have been trying now, and we're really excited. I'm really chuffed. We are going to another stage of life. But as Hannes taught us and has taught me, when children came into his life, he had to step it up to a completely different level. Tony Robbins said exactly the same thing. And so maybe that's where the overwhelm comes, because I now realize it's time to step it up. It's time to take my life to another level. It's time to get far more results from the actions that I'm taking. So until another week, thank you very much. Cheers. See you soon.